All right, let's get to it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce just opened up her 2025 season running 10.94 seconds in the 100-meter dash down in Kingston, Jamaica, Velocity Fest 17. This was an amazing performance. Now, the flash time came up on the clock as 10.93 seconds, and everyone thought that this was a world lead because just literally a few hours ago, we saw a Navia battle down at the Tom Jones Memorial in Florida. She ran 10.98 seconds. So crosses the line, 10.93 seconds. Immediately, the announcers say, a world lead. Is this a world lead? They were like shocked. And then they were saying, check that wind. And it came up as plus 3.1 meters per second on the wind. And this was, regardless of the wind, this was an amazing performance. Now, in the race, Shelly got out to her typical rocket start. Maybe not as blazing as she has in previous years. Of course, not like she was in like 2012 or even like 2021 or whatever it may be. But still had that blazing start, and this is her first race of 2025. She hasn't run since the heats of the Paris Olympic Games last year in early August. So we're talking about months since she has competed. So for her to get a really good start, she also had Natasha Morrison, who of course is known as, one of the more consistent Jamaican sprinters over the past almost like 10 years at this point. She's been on the scene for a while, but Natasha Morrison was on her inside and really giving her kind of a good run for her money. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, we saw not only that amazing start, but also a great second half to eventually pull away and come away with the time of 10.94 seconds. But of course, it is wind aided, plus 3.1 meters per second. So it's not going to count. It's not allowable. But I think overall, what this does indicate is that Shelly is in amazing, amazing form. Like I said, we had not seen her run since the Paris Olympic Games last year in August, right? She ran the heats, and then of course she pulled out of the semifinals. We still don't know exactly what occurred there. But now, starting her season all the way up in April, we're talking about April 19th. And this is the earliest that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has actually started her season, I think since about 2022. Back in 2022, she had run the 200 on April 23rd. So similar situation in terms of running in April. But in the 100-meter dash, she actually has never run a 100-meter dash this early in a long time. Probably since before 2020, since before kind of this second leg of her career, 2021 or so, when she started to run 10.6s. So Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is in great form, considering the time of year, considering the performance. I don't know what the conversion may be, right? 11-1, something like that. But what I do like is the fact that she's opening up early, and the key is that she's healthy. This is the big factor here. This performance shows me, and hopefully shows everyone else, that she is at least healthy and ready to really progress through 2025. Think about it. In 2021 and 2022, she started off the season very strong, and she eventually went on to have immaculate seasons in the 100 and the 200, both of those years, right? Don't forget, not only did she get silver at the Tokyo Olympics in the 100-meter dash behind Elaine Thompson-Herah, she also got 4th place in the 200-meter dash. She just got edged out by Gabby Thomas in that 200-meter final. 2022, went on to win her 5th World Championship gold medal in the 100-meter dash at Eugene, and she got the silver medal in the 200 behind Sharika Jackson on her way to running 10.6 throughout that year, I think 6 or 7 times. Like, that was probably her greatest season ever, considering her entire career. It's like crazy. But since then, she's dealt with injuries and she's dealt with setbacks. Look at 2023. We saw her starting off as one of the favorites going into the year, but she had so many injuries throughout the early part of the season that she actually didn't start her season until July 2023. So literally, basically 1 month before the World Championships, she didn't start her season, opening up in Kingston, for the Jamaican trials, and then going to Europe to compete 2 times before she actually went to the World Championships. So started very late because of injuries. What did we see in 2024? Yes, she made the Olympic team, but again, she didn't start her season until right before the Jamaican Championships, June 15th. Literally, we're talking about 2 weeks prior to the Jamaican Championships. Less than 2 weeks is when she actually opened up her season because of those injuries, right? Of course, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, between these past 2 years, she's been 36, 37. She's now 38 years old. So she has to handle her body with a lot more care and, take more, pay more attention to the things that are going on, to some of the things that might be hurting, or some of the things that, her body might be telling her, making sure that she's recovering, more so than she had in the past. So, of course, injury is always going to be a question on the table, but now, because she's opening up extremely early in 2025, because now she's running 10.94 seconds wind aided, yes, very wind aided as well. This is not like plus 2.1 or plus 2.2, no. 3.1, that's a lot of wind. That's a lot of wind. But like I said, at least to me, it indicates that she's healthy and she's hopefully ready to progress through 2025. Now, do I know if she's going to go to her next race and run, 10.9, legally, or maybe 10.8 or something like that? Who knows? Maybe that's possible. She has the capability to do it. I don't know if she's going to get back to her previous form of like 10.6 or whatever, but I think that she at least could, really get back to some form where we're seeing consistent 10.9s in some capacity. Maybe it's something like we saw last year where she got to the Jamaican trials and ran 10.9s all throughout, all 3 rounds. Got to the heats of the Paris Olympic Games, managed to run 10.92 seconds despite not running in the semis. Maybe we get to that point again and puts her right in the conversation with some of the women to potentially, push onto the podium. I don't know about all that yet. Now, I am, of course, doing this in terms of just the heats that she ran here. There's a final. I don't know if she's actually going to run the final here. If she does, we'll be checking out the performance there. But I do think overall that this was just a good sign. So excited the fact that she was able to get on the track, run 10.94 windy, and be able to come out healthy. Also in a relatively competitive race with Natasha Morrison really kind of pushing her on her inside. But in terms of the race pattern, in terms of like her execution, Shelly-Ann really did look like the Shelly-Ann that we've always known. Now, again, when we're looking forward, the landscape of the women's 100-meter dash is extremely competitive. Check out the video that I just did not too long ago where you have Julian Alfred, who is in immaculate form. You have Shericka Jackson, who's looking to get back into form. You have Sha'Carri Richardson, who's coming off not only being the defending world championship title, gold medalist, but also got the silver medal at Worlds last year. You have Melissa Jefferson, who of course is in Grand Slam track, but had a really, really great season last year, getting onto the podium with the bronze. You have Dean Asher-Smith, you have Daryl Nita, you have Tia Clayton, who actually beat Shelly-Ann at the Jamaican trials last year. There's so many women who are still very competitive in the 100-meter dash. So yes, I think that Shelly probably could get back to more consistent in the 10.9, dip into those 10.8s maybe, but I don't know if that means that she's going to get to 10.7s or 10.8 low or 10.7, which will probably be required to get on the podium at the Tokyo World Championships. Don't sleep on someone like Julian Alfred, who's really stepping things up. Julian has been doing some longer sprints to make sure that the second half of her race is on point. Sha'Carri, like her or not, but she is extremely, extremely talented. She didn't get a silver medal at the Paris Olympic Games last year for no reason. She didn't run 10.6 to get the gold medal at the World Championships in 2023 for no reason, right? She is extremely talented. And Shericka Jackson. Shericka is still, hungry. She's still, wants to make sure that she's in the mix. She doesn't have a gold medal in the 100-meter dash. She has 2 of them in the 200, but she wants one in the 100. So yeah, she may not be looking as great as you might expect at this very moment, but Shericka is going to be in that mix. All these women are fighting to get on that podium. Shelly-Ann is right in that conversation. And yes, last time that she did medal was 2023 in Budapest when she did have injuries, ended up running 10.7 to get on the podium behind Sha'Carri and Shericka. But like I said, with some of these other women in the conversation, it's going to be very, very challenging. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about Shelly-Ann. Do you think that, she's going to be able to really continue to progress throughout the season and eventually get on the podium at the World Championships later on this year? Or do you think it's going to be a little too late? There's too many, young and talented women who are really going to take her spot. But I don't know, initial reactions to this 10.94, do you think she's going to run 10.8s, 10.7s, 10.6s again? Or do you think maybe she'll settle in around the 10.9 range and, get to the world champs, but not be able to actually, get on the podium? Who knows? And not even talk about all the other Jamaican women between, like I said, Shericka and Tia, but Tina Clayton, Brianna Liston, Brianna Williams, like Crystal Soley, you have Nyesha Berger. There's a lot of Jamaican women who are in this conversation that are going to be trying to take, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce's spot. Even Elaine Thompson-Herah, who knows? But let me know what you think. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.